Hi there guys, Ken here, your thrifty apprentice, and welcome back to the studio. Today's video we are going to tackle Amaryllis. This is the first time I've painted a flower of this sort, and this is also one of the field tests for the Mission Gold by Magello. It is a Korean professional branded watercolor paint. Super vibrant and pigmented, really beautiful colors. And you guys can stay tuned for a review that will be coming up on the channel either before this video or after this video. I'm not exactly sure. I've been shooting videos in batches lately in order to get prepared for the Christmas holidays, so I can't remember exactly when I have each scheduled to come out. But never mind you that. Here we are painting the Amaryllis. We're using permanent red, rose madder, sap green, and we are going to go ahead and take down our paper. I blocked off, I just cut a 9x12 piece of cold press 140-pound acid-free Fabriana Studio watercolor paper. Just cut it in half and taped it down onto a cutting board, dropped my Amaryllis, and now we're painting. And of course, I told you guys the colors. The first layers were done with the permanent red for the flower section. And I did just kind of go ahead and paint it as like one big group of flowers, or one big flower, should I say. And now I'm gonna use my darks to kind of go in and separate those petals and separate those flowers from each other. The grass, or should I say the leaves in the stalk of the plant, were done with sap green. And now what you see me doing here is using rose madder to go in and add in sort of my secondary shadows, or my secondary color. We will go in with some much deeper color in just a few minutes, but this was to go ahead and try to get those mid-tones down after laying down the lightest tone from the first layer. The brush that I'm using is the, oh God, what are they? The Expressions, Creative Expressions brushes that I got from Jerry's. I told you guys that they are kind of golden Tecline synthetic brushes. Excellent line of brushes. Excellent, affordable line of brushes. I've been using them for paintings nonstop, and I have absolutely no complaints about those. And the paper that I'm painting on, I haven't really used a lot. I told you guys that's that Fabriana Studio paper. That paper is actually 25% cotton, and the rest of it is cellulose, so it has a little bit different absorbency than like your normal student grade paper, which is 100% wood pulp. So I think this is a really good bridge in between professional grade and student grade paper, and you may be interested in giving it a try. I would have to say that I find it better than, say, your normal student cellulose papers like Canson XL or the Grumbacher student grade watercolor paper that you guys see me use often on the channel. So yeah, definitely give it a try. So enough about the paper. Here I am using that madder red to go in and separate those petals, separate each flower. And I really had to take my time, if I'm going to be honest about this, guys. Now, we review a lot of craft student budget grade paints. Some of them have been wonderful. Some of them may not have been as great as others. They come really pigmented and vibrant, and, you know, for what it's worth, they have the quality of them, and we've been satisfied, or should I say I've been satisfied with them. But making this step up to the professional grade of paints that I've been reviewing lately, I can really tell a difference. And the thing is, I am looking for those professional grade of paints that are going to still be very budget friendly and not hurt the pocket, but allow any of the viewers who may be interested to see a product that will allow them to step up from the student grade realm to the professional realm, and not hurt their pockets, and maybe get better performance out of a better quality product. And I'm going to do my best to continue to search for things of that sort in nature to bring you guys. So again, subscribe and hit that notification bell for the review on these paints. They are so vibrant and rich. I had to watch myself using them, watch my water ratio to paint watch my water to paint ratio, because they were so vibrant that I really wanted to make sure to control the values of the colors that I was putting down, not to put down too much color before I got to the point where I wanted to. You guys know the way I work, should I say, is more a layering technique. In most cases, not all times, but in most cases. So these paints, sort of presented me with a challenge, to be honest, to learn to control them, which is why I took time to paint with them as long as I did before I jumped into the review on these paints. So here I am adding in more color to the stock. Now, at this point, I just decided to use the sap green by itself. I'm still using sap green. Now, keep in mind, the first layer was a more watery layer. Now we're going in with more concentrated color of the sap green, less water in it, to add in those secondary colors, those mid-tones. And then again, we will be going back and adding some darker, deeper values to the stem and leaf area as well. By this point, you guys can see that I really haven't used many colors. We're still using those same three colors at the moment, which are the sap green, the permanent red, and the matter red. Now, I am going to be adding one additional color to this mixture, and it will be ultramarine blue. Now, I'm still going to use the sap green, but I'm going to mix in ultramarine blue to go ahead and give it the darker value that I need in order to add in the shadow tones. Same difference with the flower portion up top. I'm going to mix a little of the permanent red, a little of the matter red, then throw in some ultramarine blue in order to get the darker tone that I'm going to be using to go in to add the shadow of that flower section. So 4 colors, that's all it took in order to paint this. It is a really easy composition. Anybody can do it. You can use whatever you may have in your stash, but I did definitely want you guys to see how these Mission Gold paints performed. I am in love. I am in love. Now, at the point that this video comes out, I've already done the review on the Pretty Excellent paints. I've already done the review on the Paul Rubin paints. And if I just had to choose between the 3, something to spend my money on that was going to be of quality and last for quite some time, because these paints are really, really easy to wet, semi-moist. They re-wet with just a touch of a brush. I would probably go with these over the Paul Rubens and the Pretty Excellent. But that's neither here nor there, for those aren't up for question at the moment. But I did just kind of want to throw that out there because it is something to think about. So as you can see, I'm just adding in those darker colors. I'm going to splatter some paint in the background in order to give the composition a little appeal, because I didn't do a background, so I wanted, to kind of put some movement back there behind the flower so that it wouldn't just look so stark and so white. Here, I'm going to finish up by putting a final, really watery, thin layer of the permanent red over the entire flower. And now this is after all the other layers have taken time to dry. And this is just to punch up the color on the part that didn't have the dark saturated color on it. I'm doing the exact same thing for the stalk and leaf area, using really watery layer of sap green, and just went to even all those tones out. Once that dried, I decided I would jump into the composition with some colored pencils. Now here, guys, I am using Prismacolor. Prismacolor is a pretty opaque color pencil, soft lead. They lay down really easily and really well on top of other things, especially gouache, watercolor. They help to kind of punch up your composition, give whatever object you're painting more weight, more roundness, more substance, so to speak, so that it looks heavier and real. And I'm just using a couple of colors across the spectrum. A poppy red, I believe I use a crimson, I'm using a lemon yellow, and I forget what the name of the green was, but it was really close to the sap green color, in order just to add a little punch to the composition. So as we finish up here, I really hope that something that I have said as I rambled on through this video probably sounded a little scatterbrained at times. But I really hope that you guys were able to pick up some tips and or tricks and techniques that'll help you in your painting journey. To finish up, I'm using a fine liner to just kind of add a little bit more depth to each individual section of the flower and to kind of make it stand out just a little bit more. I'm going to also go in with a white gel pen in order to add my final highlights and to just give it a little pizzazz, you know, make it look like some light was hitting the flower. Now, in retrospect, I was doing this voiceover after the composition was painted. I really wish I had to put dewdrops on those petals. I think it would have made it a lot more nice. So yeah, I threw in a black frame with the liner, fine liner. Now I'm going in and adding the stamens since we did not paint them in. I did want to save that part for the black fine liner. I felt like it would be great contrast against the red of each of the flower petals. Taking off the tape, be sure to pull away from your composition so that you don't tear your paper, or use a heat gun or a hair dryer to heat that adhesive and loosen it before taking your tape off. I'm using a white gel pen to throw in some highlights. And yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. Don't forget to like, comment, follow, share, subscribe, and just keep painting.